Have you ever come across a book you genuinely wanted to read, only to keep delaying it because you wanted to read it properly? I did that all the time. The more I liked the book, the more easily I postponed it, saving it for the right mood, the right evening, the right version of myself. And that moment almost never came. So the book stayed there, still inviting, still intriguing, still unread. If that sounds familiar, there is an idea in how to read a book that may help. Adler calls it superficial reading. When conditions are less than ideal, your first task is not to go through every line but to keep going. Gather what you can. More importantly, leave some of it unresolved. I found that idea unexpectedly liberating. It reminded me that reading does not begin in perfect circumstances, but in real ones, where reading superficially is better than nothing at all. Many of us do not fail to read for nobler intellectual motives. We fail in much more ordinary ways. Our bodies tired, our attention scattered, our time fragmented. We want the experience of reading to feel complete, proper, worthy of the book in our hands. But life is rarely that well arranged. This idea gave me permission to begin anyway, with some confusion, some incompleteness, and only a glimpse at first. But even a glimpse is still something. Often it is the beginning of everything. Once I accepted that superficial reading could also be valid, it led me to a more honest thought. What exactly am I reading for? That, in turn, made me question a quiet assumption that the longer and more painstaking the reading, the better the reading must be. Is that really true for every book and for every purpose? Adler makes a sharper distinction. Sometimes we read for pleasure, sometimes for information, and sometimes because we want a book to enlarge our understanding, not merely add or stock of facts. Once that is clear, one begins to see that time alone proves very little. It is possible to linger over a book, to move through it with visible seriousness and yet never truly enter it. In that case, one is not quite reading, but performing the identity of a reader. As Dan Coe put it, reading can become a performative act. That line stayed with me. Time is limited, and to read every book deeply on the first encounter is both impossible and unnecessary. Books are not there to be completed one by one in dutiful succession. What matters first is contact, enough for a book to find its place in the architecture of your mind. As Adler suggests, the highest form of reading lies beyond any single book. Books are not the end. You are. Superficial reading serves the first purpose well. After that, extra time may already be serving some other end, pleasure, experience, or performance. And that to me is where this channel begins. I do not dismiss the shallow forms of reading that this age has produced. I live with them too, gathering fragmented things in fragmented time. But those fragments do not simply disappear. They linger, they return, later they lead somewhere deeper. And I walk you there.